How's it going? Hope you're having a great day. This is the companion commentary to my photo project, Bath. So, this project, Bath, is it's a location, Bath, Ohio, and it's known for it's Jeffrey Dahmer's hometown. You know, it's crazy to think that and it's actually not that far from where I live. It's probably like an hour or so drive. Um, and I was just like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna just go out there for an afternoon and make a photo project in Bath. Like that was just, I was like, I want to make a project. I knew I wanted to go there, and I was like, it's going to be a challenge. So that's what I did. So all these are on location in Bath, and it was an interesting experience because I knew I was trying to make some type of work and some type of narrative all at the same time in just an afternoon, and it was a fun challenge, especially going because 'cause I'd never been to Bath, even though it was, somewhat nearby, and, but I knew of it and I knew the, the history. So let's get into this project. And so it's just, and there's really nothing like specific. I knew the road that he lived on, so I wanted to get down there. But I was kind of just going with the vibe. Hadn't been to the town, so I was just kind of going around shooting photos. And I had this thing where it's like I wanted to get the trees in the sky and like, just that kind of element to the project, like, looking above from the land type thing and, the area. And so that's kind of a little bit of the vibe I was going with because, trees have been there a long time, that type thing. And going different paths, kind of just going around because, it's just interesting, who's been down this path, who's done, I was just really I really had those thoughts of like, I want to go where maybe things happened before. This is a cool tunnel. This is, a blue barrel, interesting, with the context of this project. Again, it's kind of like paths, trees, sky, it's just like getting that like just vibe. So now it's just like, you wouldn't know this without the commentary, but this is going down his road. There's a mailbox around the corner, just like, like, so like literally like this is like his, um, from the road where the house is back in back in there. So this is the woods leading up to it. Then I kind of get out of there and end up, just for context, I want to just do post office, Bath, Ohio, that type thing. Obviously, it's another, piece of the project, you know, male muscle type thing. This was an interesting ditch I went into. It's kind of felt weird down in here. It was definitely just the vibe I was feeling. And I would really just kind of like the electrical lines, like, and I kind of go back to, so I'm going back and forth to like the area of the house on the street from the tree lines. And then back here, I find this weird like rock looking bone thing. And, use my hand. This is my own hand that's sticking out there. And, and I go back to the lost and found. So obviously, I had a narrative going on with this project, and that was the challenge. And in this town of Bath, Ohio. And so, yeah, a little bit different there. I kind of made things just, you know, simple in a way where it's like, here's this plan, work on this narrative, try to piece something together, and you have an afternoon. I basically gave myself a project and it reminded me of I was in art like all through high school, and my art teacher was probably one of the worst art teachers of all time. Just in the sense where, like, he wasn't really an artist, didn't understand artists. I think that's more I think he didn't understand artists, I think he felt like he was an artist. Um, you mean as a teacher, I'll give him that. I don't know how much of an art teacher he was, but there's a class called Studio Problems. So you had to do the 4 art you had to do art every year, and if you did that your last year, so your 4th year, you would take an art class, plus you'd have a class called Studio Problems. And in Studio Problems, you would make your own project, and you'd have to complete that project. That's actually when I pretty much first started shooting photos because I had a photo project where I had to, do it like a editing thing with a butterfly photo. Not the greatest, but again, that's the very early days of me shooting photos. It was like a little Minolta point and shoot, and so I was like doing something where like, but it was weird because you had some parameters you had to go by, because he didn't really want to do a photo thing, but he wanted me to do like colors, just like everyone, like selective color thing. But that's was kind of like he wanted to make it more like that. He didn't really understand art at all. It's crazy. It was terrible. But anyways, thinking about that class title, that is going to be my next merch drop is studio problems because I have problems in my studio. Let me tell you. But no, this felt like that time where it's just like I'm thinking of a project. Cool, it's due now. I have to go photograph it. It's part of my class today, and I was standing outside under this awning just the other day, and it was raining, and it was like I was thinking about projects and like I need to get another one going here, and just like thinking about that then and doing this commentary. This is a good reminder of like get some type of thing that gets you out, gets a narrative going, and just makes something happen. So, anyways, that's my project Bath. If you haven't yet, check out bsmitty.com. You can see every photo project on there for free. You can go through all the photos. There's also a merch shop, a print shop where I have B Smitty original owned. I call them Boo Prints. Definitely help support the cause. Again, there's shirts, hats, all that type of stuff. That all supports the cause for sure. On Instagram at OGB Smitty. If I didn't say that already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.